The LSU Tigers have found themselves with a quarterback that is once again top 3 in Heisman odds. They find a way to do it every couple years.
Yep.
Last season they were 9-4, but we're not talking about last season. No. We're in the middle of our series where we deep dive into the teams that can potentially win the college football playoff. If you have a team that we haven't talked about, scroll through the videos. If you have a team that you want to hear and we haven't done it, drop it in the comments. Yep. Let us know. We will go ahead and dive in. LSU, though, very, very controversial team. Didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yep.
Top 2 in Heisman odds quarterback. Brian Kelly potentially on the hot seat.
Yeah. So
we're going to dive into this team, what the roster is going to look like, and then we're going to talk about their odds to win the conference, make the playoffs, their over-under win line, go through the schedule, and at the end of the episode, kind of aggregate our thoughts and determine what we think of this LSU team heading into next season. Mario, you are obviously the resident LSU fan, born and raised Louisiana. Go ahead, kick us off on the Tigers.
Absolutely. Okay, so it's quite simple. We are going to be national champions next year.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No. I'm actually I'll be unbiased with this. I'm just going to give you guys a little deep dive into what to look forward to next season. So starting off with the fun side of the ball, the offense. We got Garrett Nussmeier. Tyler kind of hinted at it, up there with the Heisman odds, legit Heisman contender.
Plus 800, second overall.
There's a good history at LSU with quarterbacks who have a good season and then return for their final season.
Works every time.
Joe Burrow, good year, next year, Heisman.
Best year of all time.
Yeah, best year of all time. Jaden Daniels, good year, next year, electric, Heisman. Garrett Nussmeier last year, over 4,000, over 4,100 pass yards, 30 touchdowns. Good season. I think he's going to take a step forward. I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman.
It sounds like you're saying
I'm just saying there's been a history of it. So
sounds like Heisman.
It's not a bad bet. I'm just going to say that. But I do expect him to make some significant steps forward for sure. Anytime you get experience in college and you got good quarterback play, it helps the team a lot. So I'm not really worried about our quarterback play as long as we keep him healthy. We'll be in every game. Do I want to get into? We'll save the offensive line. Good part of the offense. I really like our wide receivers.
Oh yeah, I love
the trio. We got Nick Anderson and Barron Brown. Recruit Nick Anderson from Oklahoma, Barron Brown from Kentucky, and then we got Aaron Anderson back. I think that trio is one of the best in college football. Honestly, Barron Brown's a freak. He was on Kentucky last year.
1,500 yards.
Yeah, Kentucky was not really a passing offense.
Nothing. Yeah.
They did upset Ole Miss, and literally the only way they upset Ole Miss was because, obviously the defense was playing great, but anytime it was third and long, their quarterback would just chuck it up, Hail Mary, 50-50 Megatron, Barron Brown would just leap over 2 defenders, make a ridiculous catch. You give him with a good quarterback like Garrett Nussmeier, also have Nick Anderson, Aaron Anderson in the slot. I think it's going to be a really good passing attack. We saw last year this offense was number 2 in the SEC with passing offense. So I think we're primed to continue that, good offensive efficiency and production. Now the question marks with the offense. We got the running back situation, Caden Durham.
Love him.
He was fine last year, really efficient. 5.5 or 5.6 yards per carry, really good, but just not really given a whole lot of attempts. A little bit on the smaller side for a running back.
He's also a freshman, so hopefully they'll trust him, right?
Is he a freshman?
Oh, I thought he was a freshman.
Maybe he was a freshman. I'll have to look into that. But he's coming back. He's slated to be our number 1. We didn't really get too many transfers, but what we did get was a 5-star recruit who's a true freshman. His name's Harlem Berry. A lot of good reports coming out of camp about him. So
Caden Durham was a freshman last year.
Okay,
so
yeah,
should give him a little.
Yeah,
trust.
So he should be better this year for sure. But I think this 5-star recruit guy is actually pretty good. His name's Harlem Berry. He's a little bit bigger than Caden Durham. Caden Durham's 5'8". This guy's 5'10", which I kind of prefer. I don't really like the super small running backs. Occasionally you see an Ashton Genty workout, but usually
Harlem Berry.
Yeah.
1 overall running back, 18th overall, consensus 5-star. Yep.
Yeah. No. He's apparently looking really good. So it makes me think that we didn't really go after transfers because we were just happy with him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have that 1-2 punch. We also have some rotational players coming back as well. So running back still up in the air, but it's looking like it should be okay. Now the offensive line. We lost Emory Jones. We lost Will Campbell.
Tough blow.
2 big blows to the offensive line.
And 2 others, too.
Yeah, and 2 others. One of them was like a rotational player.
Garrett Dellinger and Miles Frazier.
And Miles Frazier, yeah. So, but we did get the number 1 center in the portal. So we got Braylon Moore from Virginia Tech. We also got Solomon Thomas, 5-star recruit from Florida State. We got him to flip to LSU. We've done that a couple times with Florida State commits. So it's been a...
Yeah, people weren't loving what they saw from Florida State last year.
Yeah, especially with DJ at the helm.
So good.
And then we also got our big corn-fed boy from Northwestern. We got him to transfer down to LSU, Josh Thompson. So we did get some transfers. It's still going to be a question mark for sure. That's kind of my biggest concern when it comes to the offense is going to be how this unit works together. Offensive line is a lot of like chemistry and camaraderie, and there are going to be, some new pieces in there. So that'll definitely be the one aspect to look out for. If that piece of our offense is good, I think we're going to be a really tough team to beat. Now, for the other side of the ball, defense was not good last year.
No.
Oh, no.
No, we ranked
Shootouts every game.
No, I mean we can overall. I think we ranked 14th in the SEC. There's 16 teams, so not good. Our passing defense was okay. I mean, it was like 11th, so not great. And I think our rushing defense was like 15th or 16th, so pretty bad.
Yeah, you're 58th overall for yards per game allowed, so very below average.
Yeah, very below average. That's where I think we need to have, in my opinion, the biggest steps forward. You look at the times when we won the national championship, we had an above-average defense. We don't need to have the number 1 defense. If you're going to have an offense that goes crazy, like I looked it up, in 2019, our offense was rated like 7th in the SEC, so it wasn't great. But what we did do is we were actually really good at stopping the run.
You meant defense, right?
For defense,
Your defense was ranked 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said offense, but...
Oh, yeah, no.
There's no way that's true.
No, we were number 1.
One, and 1.
Yeah. But for defense, we're number 7, and our run defense specifically that year was really good. Our best defensive back was a true freshman in Derek Stingley. So you don't need to have the best defensive backs. If you can, it is a good freshman to have. Yeah. I mean, he's one of the best NFL corners. It worked out for him.
Top 10 draft pick.
But I think stopping the run is key, especially in college football, because, I mean, at the end of the day, these quarterbacks are kind of like kids. They're all 19, 20. You make them try to beat you. A lot of times they're going to make mistakes. I mean, you see it every year, even last year, like great quarterbacks like Riley Leonard, even Will Howard in like that first big game, Quinn Ewers, like you make these guys have to go win a game, and odds are they'll probably make a mistake. They're not pros.
Yep.
So as long as you don't just get run through, like a hot knife through butter, then you'll be in every game. And that was the problem, I think, the past couple years. That's the one issue I've had with this LSU team with Brian Kelly is like we haven't had any run defense. Luckily, we got a lot of transfers and brought in a lot of people to bolster that defensive line. So we did get the top transfer in the portal. Number 1 defensive player, we got Patrick Payton. Again, another Florida State guy who didn't like what he saw from the program. Flipped to LSU. So a lot of high expectations out of him. We got Jack Pyburn. He was the number 6 edge rusher in the portal. We got him from Florida to come to LSU. And then we got Jamari Butler. Last year had 7.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss at Nebraska. Got him to come down to LSU. We're really just bolstering that defensive line. Those are the edge rushers. Defensive tackles. We got a dude from Texas. Sorry, Mike. Sadir Mitchell. I mean, this dude, 6'6", 340 pounds.
Jesus.
I mean, we just lack size last year. Usually I'm used to seeing big boys.
Fat as
No, he's
massive.
huge. Defensive tackle, that's what I want. Just like someone just big, so like you're running into a wall. We can't just
I can't wait for Mike to say he couldn't make the roster at Texas, so that's why he's going
I don't
to
think
LSU.
he got many
No, he just went to the better program.
Yeah.
He didn't get many snaps.
Yeah.
So
And also we got Bernard Gooden. He was the number 4 portal player for defense from USF. We got him to come to LSU as well. And then, got some defensive backs. Virginia Tech, he was the number 2 corner in the portal. But like I said, I'm not really worried about our defensive backs. We always have good players there.
Yeah.
But it was really that defensive line. So I think real unbiased opinion about this team, I think we are national championship contenders. I wouldn't put us as any favorites by any means. I definitely would say there's teams that are in a better situation. it's really going to come down, in my opinion, to our offensive line. I think our defense will take a step forward. It's easy to be better than the worst. So as long as we're just middle of the pack and our run defense isn't just getting bullied around, we'll be in every game because our offense is going to put up points. It's just really going to be like if we can run the ball effectively. We were 16th in the SEC last year in running the ball, so that's partially due to the offensive line. So if we
had a good line last year too.
We had a really good pass blocking line. When it came to run offense, not the best. Will Campbell was good, but he was our only good offensive.
I wonder if that was a running back problem then.
No, he averaged 5.5 yards per carry.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of attempts though. A lot of it was just like,
Freshman.
yeah, I mean the offense.
Oh, so you were a passing offense.
I mean, they ran for 1,500 yards as a team.
Yeah,
I'm saying they were passing.
It was
offense.
tough.
Yeah, they didn't even try to run the ball.
we didn't even try to run the ball. I would like to see a little more balance from the offense for sure, but I think it all comes down to O-line. So I like our team. I think we can be one of those elite teams. I would be disappointed if we didn't make the college football playoffs for sure. Definitely think we're one of the better teams. Wouldn't say we're the best.
Well, we'll get into
but
the schedule.
I would say top 5 team realistically.
We'll get in the schedule and talk about the win totals in a second here.
Yeah.
Mike, Mario kind of dove pretty deep in the roster there. Do you have anything to add on about this team that you thought looking at it?
No, I mean, I like Nussmeier. I think he's pretty good, but I think the situation, given their schedule, is extremely tough. I like that they have Aaron Anderson returning. I trust the transfers that they have coming in for their receiving core. And then my big questions is, Brian Kelly hired 2 new coaches, and they seemingly, in my opinion, would be a good adjective would be like terroristic.
Wow.
One of the coaches.
Bad timing,
another
Mike.
Michael word of the
well,
day.
Bad timing.
Well, yeah,
Especially what's
in
going on?
this
Yeah, it's
environment,
absurd timing. We're literally
actually,
canceled, flagged, kicked.
I didn't even think about it that way, but
Even worse.
So one of the coaches is a tight ends coach from FSU, Florida State University, that is, and they boasted 17th out of 17th in every offensive stat except for one,
That's because
which they were 16th out of 17th.
You're talking about Florida State,
Florida State.
and you're getting angry that they hired their tight ends coach at LSU.
Yes,
You know who the quarterback was last?
I understand. And then
Can't-
next, they also hired a defensive coach from Miami, while Miami was ranked 70th
Really
in
see how
terms of
Michael
total
thinks,
defense. Don't really love the
He's not their
hires.
defensive coordinator though.
No, but I don't like that
Assistant.
I don't like that he's poisoning the system.
Yes.
Okay.
Same with this FSU trash. And
Not a fan of Florida, it seems like.
Mike hates Florida.
Yeah.
well, I
Hates
like it.
everyone and everything.
That's
Mike's never been to Florida.
certainly not true.
Hates
It's
it.
also certainly not true.
Where have
Been
you
to
been in
Disney
Florida?
World. Been to Disney World.
When?
When I was a kid.
When?
So not in the last
When?
20
15
years.
years.
You've never been to Disney World.
I would bet any amount of
Just
money.
made that up.
I'll bet any amount of money.
right,
I will
Mike,
call
Mike.
my dad right now.
Anything else? Don't call.
I'll call my dad
live
right
on the
now.
pod? I kinda
I'll call
like
my
it.
dad right now.
What age do we go to Disney
Don't-
World?
Mike,
And
do
it
not
has to be
do it.
Florida, not China.
Mike,
or
you're
whatever.
26 years old. Don't call your father.
Oh, dude, that would have been electric.
I mean, it's right.
Dad,
here,
did I
so
go to
call-
Disney World?
I mean,
Come on.
all right.
Text him.
No, anyways.
After the pod, we'll settle it.
So
So
see, I called his bluff.
So you don't like this team?
I just think after what I learned
You
about
must hate
Brian
this team.
Kelly with the whole Greg Brooks Jr. incident, I think that he's a terrible person.
Should explain that incident for the
So
viewers that aren't.
Greg Brooks Jr. was a player at LSU
Yeah.
who was then,
You'll censor this.
I don't know, hit or something and then put into a coma, and then Brian Kelly never checked up on him and just threw him to a wayside for 10 months. And
I don't think that's
ever
what
since that happened, I was like, hey, Brian Kelly, I think you're a bad person and I don't want your success. So that's that.
Yeah, I think that never checked on him thing was slightly refuted a couple times, but
Yeah, by him, of course he would refute it. That's stupid.
but okay.
What's he gonna do? Agree? Be like, yeah, I threw him to the garbage.
All right.
So,
yeah.
moral of the story, not a good team.
Not a good guy.
Anyways,
Good thing we're talking about the team.
Yeah, both. Little hand in hand action.
I was a little too much Mike for one episode. Yeah, I like the deep dive Mario did into the roster because I think he hit on all the main points I wanted to talk about. I think Nussmeier is going to be good. Second in the Heisman odds, and I don't think that's off hype. I think it's, his dad is a quarterback's coach for the Saints. offensive coordinator for many years. He's like that family knows how to do football. I know his younger brother too is like a 4 or 5, like a 4-star up and coming recruit in high school. Like this family puts out quarterbacks. They know offense. I don't have any worries about Nussmeier. I do have a lot of worries about the O-line. They lost 3 starters and like Mario said, a rotation piece on the O-line. But pretty much, they lost a lot of skill positions. They lost defensive line. They lost, running back, some wide receivers, RIP, Kyron Lacey. They lost some defensive backs. But they had the number 2 overall transfer class. They took in a bunch of players, and Mario covered all of them in depth. They took, just pretty much any position they needed, they filled with freshmen or transfers. They were throwing money around like crazy. So this team feels very, piecemeal to me, but with really talented players. And so what I think you need when you have a team like that is a really good coach because, it kind of reminds me in a way of Ohio State's roster last year where there's quite a bit of seniors and there's senior leadership at quarterback and you have some really good returners. I mean, Harold Perkins returning at linebacker. People thought he would have been in the pros. Yes, after freshman season. He's not, he's not here anymore. They have a lot of really good senior leaders on offense and defense, and they have really talented transfers all around them. And Ryan Day was able to put that together by the end of the season to result in a national championship because they were so much bigger and more experienced than all these other teams. Don't think you see a lot of young players playing, maybe at running back, like the guy you mentioned. But besides that, I think it's a pretty experienced team. They're just not with LSU experience. So we'll kind of get into that when we talk about the schedule. But yeah, I really like the Barryon Brown edition. I think their team has the talent everywhere they need. But I'm going to hit the brakes on the national championship expectations.
Yeah, I mean, you guys nailed this. I love the talking about transfers and recruits. You guys obliterated the transfer portal and recruiting. I thought amazing as always, nothing different. Good for LSU for the future, apparently, because they've been downhill with Brian Kelly, it feels like. But I'm actually worried. So when we were talking about these past LSU teams that were so good, their defense didn't have to be the best. They could have been middle of the pack, even if it's just – we were talking about the SC, even in general, and just football, middle of the pack. But they also had an offense that was. We talked about you got good recruits and rankings.
Historically,
you didn't have wide receivers like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas.
Yeah.
The people coming in, I don't care who they are.
Yeah, Aaron Anderson's fine. I'm saying Aaron Brown's good,
but they could be good. They're not even. None of them are going to touch those. So my thing is, I'm actually worried about the offense because I don't think your defense is going to be anywhere near the top 20 at the end of the year in college football. So your offense is going to have to be what these old LSU offenses were, but I don't see it with the talent personally. If Garrett Nussmeier is literal him and wins a Heisman, I'm wrong, and he makes every wide receiver better because it's college. But I actually am very worried about this offense, actually, because I think they're going to have to overproduce. Wow. And when you have to do that in this type of league, especially in the SEC with your schedule, it's going to be tough. So I'm very pumped the brakes on the national championship contenders.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into that schedule we talked about. The win total for this year, 8.5 wins at -132. Vegas isn't thinking LSU is going to be a playoff team. I mean, they think 9 wins.
It could be.
9 wins has never gone that large bid to the playoffs. The only 9-win teams to get into the playoffs have been conference champions. Don't know if 9's going to get you there in the SEC. No. But let's start at the top. First game, Mario at Clemson. Yeah. We are going to be there.
We are going to be there.
What do you think?
I've talked about it, I think, previously.
Yeah, in the Clemson episode, we talked about this.
But I actually do think it's a really good spot for us. Both programs, you could say, have a bad history of
recent history. Yeah.
Recent history of their first games. Luckily for one of us, that'll end. But I don't know. This just seems like not a lot of pressure on LSU for some reason. We're on the road. If we lose, I don't think it's that big of a deal because Clemson's going to be ranked pretty high. So it's kind of just like a free chance to kickstart our season at a really high ranking and kind of ride that. I like a win there, but I think it's going to be really tough.
Mike?
I have it as a 60-40 LSU win.
Yeah, I have it as a 100% loss.
Yeah.
And I do think this is a must-win for LSU. We haven't talked the rest of the schedule, but the win total is 8.5 for a reason. So, in my opinion, it depends what you want to say the expectations are for this team. Because if you're saying at-large bid for the college football playoffs, which is how every team except for one in the SEC is going to have to get there, and there was quite a few in the last playoffs, you're going to need 10 wins.
Yeah.
You need 10. total. And if it's 9, you better have 3 wins against top 10 teams.
Yeah.
So this is one of those. Like this is the at-large win on the road against a top 10 team on this schedule. I mean, we'll get to it later. You'll have an at Bama, but besides that, this is the one. So I think it's a must-win for LSU, and I don't think they get it done. I think it's a loss.
Yeah, I actually think it's a must-win for LSU and Clemson. I think it'll look worse for Clemson if they lose at home.
Sure, of course.
So I kind of like LSU kind of playing freely. I have this as a coin flip because it depends on the rest of the schedule where you guys go. So I'm kind of going to give this in the air for now and then switch it when we choose.
All right, well, you can hold it at 50-50. At the end, we'll add up our win total. Home against Louisiana Tech. Win. Home against Florida, week 3.
Win.
I have as a loss or a loss in South Carolina. So it's, one of the two, but very close, very tight game, especially.
I like Mike jumping from week 3 to week 6.
Yeah.
Well,
For a 50-50. That's nice. That's nice.
50-50.
It's week 3, week 6.
Team could look completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario. Florida, any worries?
I like the win because it's at home. I have us beating Clemson, so I think that'll really kickstart our season. Then we get the easy home game against Louisiana Tech to get the crowd going, and then we, host Florida. I think it could be a little bit of a trap spot. Not much is known about this Florida team.
No, they're a total question mark.
DJ Lagway was this highly projected
5-star.
5-star recruit.
They'll be over.
Had moments, but I just don't see the talent
All right.
for them beating us. So
So you got win. Home against Southeastern Louisiana.
Win.
Win. Yeah.
Win.
At Ole Miss.
I have a win.
I have a loss.
I have 50-50 on this.
Tough game.
I just
gonna
think
be
it's
tough
going to be
'cause-
tough going into Ole Miss. Tough environment. Ole
I
Miss
just-
is going to be.
I mean, who
Very
on the
strong.
roster am I worried about?
They
They have a good quarterback.
Who's the quarterback they have?
The lefty.
Is it Austin Simmons?
Yeah.
Is that who it is? I think.
I'll give you a win.
He'll be good, but I don't know.
I'll give you a
I
win.
just-
It's just one of those weird SEC
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Nothing to do with
No,
talent.
100%.
Yeah, so I have that 50-50, and I have the next one, like Mike said, home against South Carolina. I have that as 50-50 as well.
I have South Carolina because I think it'll be a defensive game and your defense not that great.
Mike,
All right, I'll give Florida as a win on South Carolina.
you'll go back
as
to
a
week
loss.
3 and give them a win.
Give them a win there and a loss
Jesus
here.
Christ.
Thanks for doing all that.
Yeah.
Mario?
I like the win for us because it's at home. Obviously, it's going to be tough. I just think, don't get me wrong, don't underestimate the South Carolina team by any means, but outside of, Lenora Sellers is good for like a college quarterback. I just don't see the team as a whole competing. Like, I actually don't think it could get ugly for them.
All
But I
right.
have a
Damn.
win.
Well, then you go on the road to Vandy.
Win.
Got to
I
win.
have a win.
It's a win.
Home against
Shout out to Diego
A&M.
Pavia.
Win.
Win.
Yeah, that's like, I feel like we might drop.
The schedule sucks.
I feel like
hard.
we might drop a game. Like a weird game. I'll put it as a win, but I don't know. Something about A&M, they just kind of have our number.
I feel like this one of these years.
Just like historically. Like it's
What are you
just,
doing?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I don't
over
even know
there?
what that is.
Just chilling.
Oh,
But what do you have in your
He's
hand?
not
Is that
paying
a
attention to the
No, it's a
episode.
divot tool.
Oh, I thought it was a knife too. I was like, what
He's
has he
just
been doing
slicing
like
and
last
dicing
2
them.
minutes?
Cutting
Just like
his
looking
wrist.
down,
I was
cutting
like,
himself.
No, it's
Sorry,
not.
Mario, you cut you off.
13 reasons
why.
No, they're just A&M, like historically, just like the last like 15 years, like every time we play them, it's always just like a close game. They like
Yeah.
They play tough games in the SEC, especially LSU. You're right.
Yeah, so I don't know. That game, for me, I'm more worried about them than South Carolina.
Dude, their next game doesn't get any easier. At Alabama.
They lose to
yeah,
That's a loss.
that's going to be tough.
That's a loss.
It's going to be tough. At Alabama, probably, like, if I'm being unbiased, probably a loss because we don't have the best record beating them at Bama. Last time we did was when we had Joe Burrow. So
Yeah, I have it close to a coin flip. I'll probably lean loss here, but I'm not as all over this. Like I think LSU probably has a better.
It's gonna be a
team
close
than-
game.
Probably has
Yeah,
a better. team
LSU's
than
a better
Bama.
team. I just think it's at home. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
All
all
right, and then end the season home against Arkansas is going to
Win.
be a win. Home against Western Kentucky
Win.
is going to
Win.
be a win. Then at Oklahoma, I actually
Could be
have
a tough game.
I put loss.
Pure loss.
Pure loss.
Yeah.
Only because I think it's a shootout. Game of the year to end the year.
Could be game of the year.
I
It's
mean,
gonna be
just
electric.
material.
It might be game day. This might be college game day this week because this game is absolutely electric.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I got the win total is 8.5 and it's minus money on the over, I added mine up. I'm leaning under. I have like around 8 or like 7.9. I think this schedule is just really, really tough. I haven't seen many teams with a harder schedule than like at Clemson, Florida, at Ole Miss, South Carolina, A&M, at Bama, Arkansas, Oklahoma. That's a gauntlet. That is a gauntlet of a schedule. So I think if you hit the over, like you win 10 games, you're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like you're a more impressive resume than a team that's 12-0 in the ACC, in my opinion. But you have the over, Mario?
Yeah, I have the over. I think we're I don't know. I feel like our over-under's being a little bit undervalued or shorted. I don't like it. It reminds me a lot. This is obviously jumping to pro football, but there was we actually have it. It was one of our first ever episodes on the podcast when we did NFL over-unders, and I had for the NFC North. I said the Lions run away with winning, and it was the year when the Vikings had won 13 games and lost, and I was like, dude, this Vikings team, like 8 of their wins were by 4 points or less. Like, there's no way they win. And it was the flip side for the Lions. Like, I feel like last year we left. Sorry, Mike's playing with a knife over there.
What's going on?
We're good.
Dude.
It's like hard because I'm talking to the camera and like under the table. I just
dude, it's the whole episode.
Anyways, but no, I felt like a lot of games last year, even our first game against USC, like we left a lot of wins out there. I think people are relying a lot on like our record last year and not like if you really watch every single game, there's a lot of games where we were, in my opinion, the better team. And obviously that comes down to coaching. Brian Kelly's going to have to improve, but I just feel like eventually you figure it out. So I'm banking on us actually like coming out, the experience, us getting wins. I think we could soar over this win total. Like I think we could easily get 10 games.
Are you betting the plus 138 to make the playoff then?
100%.
And then to win the SEC, LSU is plus 750.
That's juice. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough with Texas and Georgia for sure. But I would probably I feel like we're the third best team, like at least.
Okay.
You know, it depends on how Georgia looks, obviously, in Texas, but I feel like we're a top 3 SEC team. So
and then plus 1,700 to win the Natty. You're gonna.
I mean,
sprinkle.
obviously, I'm going to sprinkle. Like I said, I think we have the potential. A lot. It's going to be a lot of like if we can find our form as the season progresses, and these wins do stack up, like how I foresee it. Obviously, it could go completely south. So
yeah, that makes sense. You got to sprinkle on your boys. You got to.
It's only fair.
You got to sprinkle on
100%.
Mike loves sprinkling
We're not-
on his boys.
Mike's
That's his go-to thing. That and playing with whatever knife he was just flicking around
Jesus
the
Christ.
table.
It's a
Mike,
pivot tool.
when you look at this win total, over or under?
Over just on the faith that Oklahoma and A&M suck still and always.
For sure.
And also on a little bit of luck in, one of their like 17 gauntlet games. Taking the over and not betting anything else. Don't think they're making the SEC championship. Don't think they're winning the SEC. Don't think they're making the playoffs. Don't think they're winning a natty.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I
a lot of people don't.
It kind
believe in
of
us, and it's like a free season for us.
Well, it kind of sucks.
There's no pressure on this team this year.
I
That's
actually,
very true.
I really like this LSU team. I actually do. I think it's without a doubt one of the most talented and senior-led teams in the entire country, which I typically, that would fall in my Tyler bet on preseason bucket. Mm-hmm. And I really like your quarterback. I think he's a senior, second Heisman. He could be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And I think you have talent over the field. I think Harold Perkins is a beast. He could end up, for all I know, being top 5 pick too. You could have 2 of the top 5 at quarterback of the defense and quarterback of the offense. So there's no reason I don't like this team. But the schedule is just pretty crazy. So I'm not going to bet this. I would lean under, like I said. When I just added up my 60-40 whatevers, it was like right around 8, which just feels low when you say it. But then I reread through the schedule, and I'm like, damn, yeah. Like you're on the road at Clemson, at Ole Miss, and at Alabama. And at Oklahoma. Those are 4 road games, and that's
tough.
if you win every home game and just lose those 4 road games, it's 8 wins. And you sent the under. So, like, it's tough for me. It's a weird logic here, but I kind of like betting the Natty and nothing else because you're getting 17-1 on winning the national championship. And I'm not really – if I bet it, it's not going to be big on this over-under. I think this team has a chance to just win 8 or 9 games and just miss the playoffs and whatever. It's, like, right on that win line. But this is the type of team that if they can get these transfers actually playing together and they string off a bunch of really high-quality wins with a quarterback at Heisman level, at a senior level, like that's a team you want. That's an Ohio State-esque team, like I said earlier, come January in the playoffs. So I'm only actually betting to win the Natty. and not betting anything else. Like, don't think they win the SEC, don't think they win a lot of regular season games, but if they do, then I have that ticket.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I kind of like that logic. It's like
I'm just not confident. But
it's either
if
like,
it happens, then I love holding.
Yeah, it's either like everything falls and we're like really good, or we're just mid.
Well, just because pre-playoffs, it's the reason I don't like betting the Ohio States or the Texas, because they're going to make the college football playoffs no matter what. So their lines to win the Natty aren't really going to change a whole lot between now and December, right? Like Texas makes the playoffs, their Natty odds go from plus 500 to plus 450.
Yeah.
You got an extra 50, bips, like BPS, it's a stock term, of juice for betting that 4 months in advance. If LSU runs the gauntlet and makes the playoffs, their odds are going to go from plus 1,700 to like plus 600. They could even be the favorite, depending on how much they won. So that's my only logic there. It's not like I think they're going to win. I just think the line moves the most between the existing teams here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're exactly going to be 9-3. Nothing around it, nothing crazy. But if I'm wrong,
Over.
Yeah, over by a little bit. If I'm wrong and they're good, I actually don't think betting the national championship is smart. I think the plus 700 in the SEC, they don't have to play Texas and Georgia. If they somehow have 10 or 11 wins, I mean, if they have 11 wins, they're locked for the SEC championship.
Yeah.
So you're getting 7-1 to win one game. If they're good. If they win 10 games,
7.5 to 1.
I'm saying 7. If they win 10 games, you're most likely going to be in the SEC championship. Maybe not. But 11, you're automatically in.
Yeah.
Texas plays Georgia. That's one loss. And you're going to tell me they're going to have one of those teams are going to have one other loss in the SEC. I think that is the most value bet if you like LSU. You're getting 7.5 to 1 for a team. If you think they're going to be over and good or make the or playoffs, screw all that SEC champion or just make the SEC champion because it's probably like only plus 200.
So we literally like a different bet each. You like just the SEC championship. I like just the Natty. Mike likes just the over and nothing else. And then you just kind of sprinkle across.
I mean, I like it all.
Yeah. Well,
But
any closing thoughts, Mario, before we throw it to the viewers? So have them drop comments. Let us know what they think.
I just gotta say, wait and see. It'll be a little bit of a surprise this year.
Well, good news is we will be giving you guys some content from that Clemson LSU game.
Yeah.
We got the house locked down. We got the tickets in the president's box. It's going to be electric. And we'll be there for week 1 to see which one of our teams starts 1-0. So it'll be electric. Let us know what you think in the comments. What do you think of the video? What do you think of LSU? And what teams do you want us to do next? We've already done quite a bit. Scroll back through the catalog if you haven't already. Drop a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.